Okay. All right. And it looks like Maestruth was saying there might be some data limit on the sharing of objects. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. Okay. So before we get, and I did see, Matt, I think you had some questions about using Go subs and stuff. I want to get to that. But before we get there, was there anybody have any questions on the stuff we covered? Anyone else have a different approach they think's even better or simpler or whatever that they like? I see Mason talking about multi-threading.
Yeah, I kind of read this a few times. An alternative method is to separate scripts would be to multi-thread. Keeps it all under one process, and you can keep the files singularity available. Again, it might be a language barrier.
Well, I think part of that, Jackie, is some AutoHotkey scripts, when you're running them and executing them and you do something and they get to a certain point, it can't be doing the other, it's not doing the other things. Right?
No, I get that. Yeah.
And, I know you know that. I know. But I think that's what his point is, that, like, you know, if that is the case and you're like, no, I need this other thing always to be watching for my mail blocker or something, right? There are ways around that. And that way you don't have to have those on separate scripts, right? Using multi-threading and set timers, and there's ways that you can keep them all in one, and they still don't get, one doesn't stop it for everybody else.
Yeah, okay, but yeah, so what he's actually saying, he's kind of putting this as a method of use, or as a way of saying that using one script file by simply using multi-thread, you'll be able to share between the scripts, or instead of sharing between the scripts, you'll just share between the threads of a single file. That's what he's trying to say. That was just what I tried to read out of what was saying.
Yeah, I saw what Cap Odin saying, and Mason posted a link to his stuff. I don't know how complex it is. I don't want to get into yeah. But I mean, Mason, you just want me to unmute you and you'll explain it? Where are you? Oh, there you are. Yeah.
Yeah, Captain Odin, I got that he wanted to use, let's say, AutoHotkey H, sure, and running the other scripts as threads there. That's of course one way of doing it as well. But again, we haven't really covered AutoHotkey H in our webinars, but of course we could do that if that was.
You could, because I know nothing. I know other than I know it's what was it off the Visual Basic or something? What was it?
No, it's the same thing, and all of AutoHotkey 1.1 is also merged into it regularly. So for the most part, AutoHotkey H is the same thing. He just has a bit more, and of course he has built-in multi-threading. You just need to learn the syntax for that, and then you would be able to use it. But yeah, it's much the same.
Cool. Were there any other questions on what we covered?
Doesn't seem like it.
Yeah. All right. So Matt, I'm curious because you said
I have a question about two other approaches. Okay. And Mason doesn't have his mic set up.
Two other. Yeah, well, how about you're gonna have to give us a little more information. I know from talking to you that you'll create controls in the window and pass things to update that control, right?
Is that helpend? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes.
And he's saying in the chat, he's saying, I have a question about two other approaches. And now he's saying file passing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but and if you what you mean by that is that you save text to a file and then you read it from the other one, right? That
And pointer
absolutely you can do
passing.
that,
Yeah.
but that'll be slow.
Hmm. Okay, and pointer passing, that's then reading the memory of the different scripts, I'm guessing. Is that thread safe or what? I'm just unsure if that's a good method.
When you what was that, Jackie? You said is it safe? I don't understand.
It's just if he's file passing, that's one thing, and if he's pointer passing, then he's passing a pointer to where, let's say, the object or the information is within the other process's memory area. That's how I'm seeing pointer passing as what he must be meaning. Of course, you could say, hey, within this script's memory area with at this pointer here, read by using get string or whatever. You could read information out of the memory of another script,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not sure if that's what it is. I'm
Yeah.
just unsure if it's a good method.
Yeah, and I see your next note about a limit about how much you can pass. Honestly, I mean it's a lot, right? Especially with the com object one, the custom com object one. You can pass a lot back and forth. If it's so much, then you could save something to a file. But to me, that's not. I'm not then communicating between two scripts, right? I'm leveraging one point for one to go check and read, which is fine. And don't get me wrong. It's just that's not them communicating to each other, right? I've now involved the hard drive and I'm saving a file and I'm reading a file, which on average I'd rather not do because of the latency and speed. But sometimes you have to if you had some crazy amount of data you're doing.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, it's also just a matter of taste, maybe the thing with actually writing to the hard drive and stuff. And of course, that's become faster and you can get around it by making, let's say, memory mapped files or using streams and stuff like that. So, of course, you can use different methods of actually passing this stuff. But for this, that was at least what was easily available without much other than copying a function to your script and using it.
Cool. So why don't we jump back up to Matt's question, which I need to find it, but he said something like he would copy something with GUIs and then he'd copy and paste a lot. Oh, copy and paste. Okay. I've been using GoSub up until now and had to do a lot of copy and pasting. I think that means he's borrowing a lot from what he did and then tweaking it.
Yeah, that's probably correct.
What I don't understand is it much more difficult to not have those variables predefined and define them with a GUI? That I don't understand.
It must have been something that we talked about or talked to at the moment.
Well, I believe at the time I was working on a function, that myfunc, right?
Yeah. But let's say you hadn't predefined whatever variable you were going to use. If you had a GUI set up and you filled in a new dynamic value each time you started your script. That's how I'm hearing what you said. By filling the variable's content by using a GUI. To get what I'm saying?
I think so, but I don't. That's not how I interpret what he's written.
Okay.
But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because it gets back to, he mentioned the copying and pasting a lot, right? And I don't know how that would help with if your variables are dynamic.
Yeah, maybe.
But anyway, functions, they're just amazing, right? I'd say is if you haven't played with them, a lot, it can really help you reuse a lot of the same code over and over, and yet you can just pass different, values to them. Actually, let's do a simple one, right? 1, 2, and we're in here. This is actually Maestris message box function, so I don't even have to put all the stuff. I'm going to put actually, I think I can do it this way. Yeah, replace it. Uh-oh, that was weird. Where'd it go? Huh.
Still probably have a few running. But yeah, I'd say one of the simpler ones is what the one you're showing there would be to have one that just was add. Let's say the function was called add, and you were able to pass it to values.
Right.
And the only thing it would do would be to return the sum of the two things.
Like that?
you need a plus.
Sorry, yeah, I just noticed it.
But yeah, exactly. Add and yeah, exactly like that.
All right, so now when I run this, the first time it comes back as 3 because I called my function and I'm adding 1 and 2. And then the second time, it's 7 because I called my same function, but I passed it 2 different things, and now it's adding 3 and 4.
Yeah, so instead of having add, it could be something more involved. But yeah, but instead of having that as it goes up that you needed to copy into the next script or the next project, you could simply have a function that did whatever it is that you usually do. And have it in a standard library or included at the top or at the bottom, whatever way you like of doing it.
So an example this morning was I'm helping a friend in survey research, and so the survey tool has an API where you can connect to it. And normally I wanted to email these people, and I'd have to go to the website and upload the email addresses of each one, and then get their unique ID, and then email Jackie with his unique ID and me with mine and Matt's with his, right? But what I did was I wrote a function that I could say, here's the email address, right? Go up there and I had my own ID, but pass it into there and then just loop over them and pass those 3 things and return them back to me. And I didn't have to keep go subbing with the different email address each time, right? I just passed email as a parameter, which inside my function changed each time and did the API call to go connect to it and do all the crap for me.
Yeah. But yeah, functions is just what would you say? The next step from goes ups and other things. It might be the first step to actually making your code a little more modular. Is that the right word? Where you actually separate when you have a well-defined thing that you no longer really need to change, like this add. It's very simple. You have 2 parameters. You could have way more than that.
That's right. Yeah.
But, yeah. But it just has a predefined, a well-defined thing it does, and you know that each time you use add, it does this one thing and gives you a defined return. Whereas you wouldn't really need to copy paste that anymore.
What's also really cool is I could throw in other stuff here and say, well, that should work, right?
Yeah, that should work just fine.
So I didn't even have to store this value anywhere, right? I called my function. Let's say I had something else to do to it, right? And I never even stored the variable. I returned it, but I included it here when I'm calling it and did my thing, and I still didn't even save this, right? It just depends how you're using it. But it's another nice thing is like normally I would have saved each of those as variables and then added them together and then have a third step and say like, okay, here you go. But functions you can insert into a lot of things and not have to save them as a variable first. and so it's really handy.
Yeah.
And back to Jackie's point, when we were talking about when you're building a code and modularizing it, when I first started doing where I started using functions, and then I saw the value of like, holy crap. I mean, you start realizing like, oh my God, it saves so much time. And then you go look at the stuff you've done, or even when you write new stuff, and you'll write these long Go subs, and then suddenly you look at it and go, wait a minute here. I have 3 Go subs that are basically doing almost the same thing. I should have made that a function, right? And then of course I convert it, but I would get mad at myself for not realizing that was actually a function, just with different parameters to it. And then that's what my thought is. I talk to a lot of people. It's like over time you get better and better at knowing to create a function in the first place, but don't beat yourself up, right? A lot of times, even advanced programmers, after they've done it, they go, well, wait a minute here. This is doing the same thing. I can make this into a function and this, right? And you slowly update your code, and that's where it's really amazing, because in the long run, your code maintenance really shrinks because it's much more concise.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So on any other topics, does anyone want to bring something up?
People to just ask whatever they have on their mind. 49 should have been 42. The answers to everything. Yeah. One new message. Yes, I have a question, Glenn.
Do you want to ask it, or do you type?
I can ask by mic. Yeah.
Okay, let me unmute you. And then more often than not, you might have to change the little mic button on the bottom left of your Zoom meeting, because it might have the wrong one selected, but you're unmuted now.
Oh, hello, guys.
Hey.
Hi.
How you doing?
How's it going?
I'm good. I'm new to AutoHotkey, and so I like to automate just like you guys. So this is very cool. Thank you very much for hosting this webinar. I just have a question about when I was doing my code. Sometimes on my computer, and then I press the hotkey, but it doesn't start because the hotkey script has to run first. So is there a way I could just on my computer and have the AutoHotkey script start, but in suspended form, and then while it's running in suspended form, can I just press a hotkey and then make it unsuspended and use the shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts?
There is a way. I mean, you can. It's like right-clicking on something and saying suspend hotkeys, right?
Yeah.
That is a command in AutoHotkey that you could toggle with the suspend command, right, Jackie?
Yeah.
Yeah. But from everything you said, I'd like to take a step back first, because let me ask you this. Look, I mean, when you start your computer, do you typically launch this script right off? Is it running?
No, I would like to turn on the computer and have it automatically run.
Okay. So the easiest thing to do is to add it to your auto start folder in startup, right? So create a shortcut to it. Mine's all whacked up, so I don't know if I can find mine. But see the startup folder?
Yeah.
There's where that stupid thing is. Damn it. Sorry. I kept coming back, and I didn't know why. But you can drag a shortcut to your startup folder, like I have here, to my main script.
Yeah.
And that way, every time I boot, that main one. And so what I also do, this main one, let me show you. In it launches. I don't get caught up on the path. But see all these other, here's my start button, because I don't have an actual start button. It's a clock. That's an AutoHotkey script. My screen clipping one, that's my other AutoHotkey. I have one that will toggle, so I can click a button and it throws it to the other monitor. This one gets rid of the stupid icon tray for the hide, safely remove your thumb drive, whatever. My spell check in my menu, which is this one, and has all these menus. Those all get launched from my main one. So instead of having all 6 of these in my startup folder, I put one shortcut to my main script, and then inside my main script, I launch my other scripts. And that way, when I reload this one, they all get reloaded.
Oh, that's cool. Interesting.
And
Also,
of course, you can start the script with the suspend command.
how do I do that?
Yeah, but it is Joe. Can you take a new line? Isn't it just suspend?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh,
And
okay,
then-
so just put suspend and then and then put on.
And then on, then it's suspended, and then you can make hotkeys that are permitted. Let's say that. So you have a single hotkey. Of course, there's documentation on AutoHotkey on this, and so you can have a single hotkey within your script that can remove the suspension. So that's one way of doing it. So you can have it start up with the startup folder, having everything suspended except a single key that will unlock all the rest of them. That is at least one way of doing it.
Wow, that's very cool. Thank you very much for that advice.
Yeah.
I thought I had it an example here where it toggled it, but pause. I'm sorry. This I'm literally pausing the script, which is different than suspending your hotkeys.
Mm-hmm.
What is the difference between pausing it and suspending it?
Well, your hotkeys. Go ahead, Jackie.
Suspending is just the hotkeys which are suspended, so nothing will happen. Whereas parsing is actually the script that is parsed. So set timers and all of those will not run while the script is parsed.
Oh, okay.
So it's the actual code that is parsed. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, this is my media player, and so I just built into it where I can, I can hit a button and it'll pause the playing of the song, or I can skip it and do whatever. But yeah, and I thought, where did the pause? Because there's a great one for toggling, and that's why I want to either suspend and that are great things, because you can toggle them and you basically just set it what it's not at. Right, Jackie? Can you describe that one?
The suspension one, that is, or is it just the toggle variable?
The toggle,
using a variable that's toggling.
Yeah.
For Joe. So if toggle is not toggle, is that the one?
Right. So let's say starts off with toggle equals 0, right? And then this is where you'd change it.
Yeah. And then you say toggle, not equal to not toggle.
Oops. And that's where I would toggle. No. You have you set it. You use what do you call it? : equal not toggle. Wait, right here? Not right here?
Yeah, if you make that, you remove the not there, the exclamation part, and then you say the other one will be not toggle.
Oh, like this?
No, in the line above it.
Oh, right here then?
The one to the right there. So what?
Oh,
no, that's the one to the left.
So that one. So if it's if that in that space, if that's a 1, change it to not to what it's not. Right. so it'll set to 0.
Yeah. 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 Right now it's set to 0, but
Right.
because what it's not is 1, so toggle will be 1.
Right. Actually, let's
probably you can do the if that way, but hey.
So first it's 0, and then it switched it to 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can just throw that behind a hotkey, right? And then you're like, it just toggles that value for you, and it works.
Yeah.
You know, then it will change it the other way.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
So,
that's cool. Thank you.
And Hellbent was saying you can, the thing itself will toggle on some of the commands.
F1 and toggle is probably the standard, the default one, whereas if you have F1 like that with the command on the same line, that command will be the only one run with F1.
Well, on mine it opens the help, so I can't use F1, but
yeah. But do you have any other hotkeys that you can actually suspend? You need another hotkey in that script for it to actually make sense. Just some random other hotkey that's actually suspended when, and then having it call. It needs to do something so that we can see that J is actually suspended. Hello, world.
okay. So I'm gonna reload it.
Yeah.
Now Control J does it. Control J does it. Control T, which crap, that's another. I just set that up today. That's another one. I can't use that either. We'll use H. I got, like I said, I got a few hotkeys. All right, now Control H
also has used. You don't have in Alt. You probably haven't used that. Yeah.
Okay. See in my icon in the system tray, it's alive right now. Now it's suspended, and so now when I hit Control J, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But if I hit Control H again and hit Control J, we're back to it working.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the simple way of making a hotkey that suspends the rest of them. But if he needs it to actually start up with them, all of them being suspended, it probably needs to be on its own.
But I think, Jackie, it got back to the original question really was he wanted his script just to be launched from the beginning, right, and have everything available.
Yes.
I've been... Okay.
But anyway, it's still a good topic, right? It's good to understand.
Yeah. Sure. It's good.
How do you...
Interesting. It's not something I use very often.
Yeah. And Glenn, I'm just curious. Give us some ideas of how you automate things. What are you doing with AutoHotkey?
Is the mic on?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. One of the things I like doing is I like learning online from courses and try to be knowledgeable in my skills, so I could try to have a position. And so a lot of the things I like to do is learn online from courses. And sometimes courses are slow. Sometimes courses could be speed up. So I make AutoHotkey shortcuts on lynda.com video courses. I make shortcut keys to speed up, skip, and pause videos quickly and efficiently with quick keyboard shortcuts next to me.
Cool.
I could just get to the heart of the matter, and also slow it down if it's too fast. So I could lower the speed to maybe 1/5,
Yeah.
one half of it. Or if it's too slow, then quadruple the speed or skip. So
Yeah.
that helps me a lot learn a lot of things faster.
Yeah.
And it saved me lots of time. So I think AutoHotkey for this.
Well, another cool addition to that would be like a 5-minute reset button where it'll jump you back, a set amount of time. Because I used to listen to a lot when I would drive to work. I listened to a ton of books, and I'm like, what, I'm like, I just want to go back, a minute, and I'm like, there was no go back a minute button.
Yeah.
So cool.
So how did you used to listen to a lot of books with AutoHotkey?
No, on my drive to work. I'm just saying, I wish I had the ability to do that. Right.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But I knew exactly what you're experiencing, because stuff you're like, oh my God, please get to the point. And then some stuff they go over it so fast, which is also why we love videos and recording this, because then people can play it back whenever they want, and you don't have to digest it all.
Thank you for your videos. Thank you very much for your videos and tutorials, and that's been helping everyone.
What media player are you using when you're playing those?
I use Pot Player.
Okay.
Pot Player is customizable, and that helps a lot. So
cool. Yeah, I have it installed. Maestrieth, he introduced me to it because I would want to add subtitles to my videos, and it was really easy to see how they lined up and adjust them in time and review them. But yeah, it seemed like a cool tool.
Yeah.
Having said that, the getting back into using AutoHotkey, the Windows Media Player has a COM interface that allows you to programmatically do an amazing amount of stuff, right?
Oh, wow.
So you can really tailor it. You're not sending keystrokes to the program, right? And that's really nice.
When you say COM, you mean also just like an object way of interacting with the application?
Right.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, exactly. And so you understand.
One example of interacting with the system using COM would be like that you use for the media player would be what?
Well, like I said, just jump to very specific, jump to a certain time. Man, whatever you want, the speed up and slow down, the changing of anything, right? It would do everything that you're currently doing probably and more, right? Because you can, and also you don't have to worry that like your sending of a keystroke or something didn't quite work.
Okay, it speaks directly and specifically to the application,
right?
Instead of other programs and other. Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, which is why, when I first started using AutoHotkey, you've used hot strings, right?
Yeah.
So hot strings, yeah. Oh, that's funny. So I can type something and it puts in some code for me, right? I used those for years, and they were amazing. But once I started learning how to manipulate objects and do object dot notation stuff, and the reliability and speed of it was just insane compared to doing it manually, right?
Yeah.
And so, it's just a level up, right? Now, granted, if the stuff you already have is very reliable and it was easy for you to do, then by all means, just use it. But if you were wanting to do certain functionalities that it couldn't do, that's when, or it just wasn't consistent.
My goal is to try. I'm trying to become a freelancer, and one of my goals is to type templated emails quickly with just five ordered keystrokes to pop up a typed template into the email, so I could just send it up quick and try to email at least 100 clients a day.
Yeah.
And so it's gonna be fast emailing and fast creation of emails. I want to create a 5-button keyboard shortcut that just types the whole pre-templated email. How do I do that?
Well, our very last webinar was on automating Outlook.
Oh, automating Outlook.
Yeah.
Is it possible I could use it for Gmail?
You can, yeah, because you can still, I mean, well, one is you can use Outlook to check your Gmail, right? And the reason why I keep going back to Outlook is because it has the COM interface, and I'll give you a ton of stuff that like I mean, it was a great webinar for me because I'm like, there were so many things I'd automated with email. It's awesome.
Oh, wow.
Having said that, you can connect to, I haven't tested it in a while, but the SMTP servers with Gmail and automate. You don't even create the email, like, because you said it when you were doing it. It would send the keystrokes or send in, like, it's none of that. It automatically generates the email and sends it. You never even log into Gmail, right? I've used them in the past where you could just have a script. It's all, and it would dynamically pipe in the people and the location and all the stuff, and then would send it through your Gmail. There's also APIs like Mailgun, which is what I use for the webinar stuff, and I can track all the opens and clicks, right? And there's APIs that connect to that. And so I automate all the stuff that goes through my Outlook, which then has all the tracking on it, so I can see open and click rates and who's clicking what and everything.
Wow.
But every email is personalized to each person, with relevant data.
Yeah. When it's
There's a lot you can really do.
personalized, it's more effective.
It's incredibly more effective, in less time consuming, less issues with, the thing I loved, and I'd say go watch the webinar and then email me on the side, and I'll spend some time with you showing you, walking you through what I've done. But
Cool.
the real thing I love about my Outlook approach is I'll have a loop of, let's say, like 1,000 people. And what I'll do is I'll start iterating over the list of all the people. And the first one visually pops up as an Outlook email, and I can look at it and make sure my mail merge worked correctly. And then send it. And then the next one comes up, and I can look at it and send it. And then I have a button I can say, you know what? Everything's good, deploy all, and it stops putting up that message box, and it just cranks out all of them. And I don't see them. Wow. And that way, because I hate using a mail merge like with Word or something else where you don't get to actually see, or I could also type in a note. Hey, Glenn, haven't talked to you in a while, right? On each one as it goes out. Hey, Jackie, I love that shirt, right? The different stuff as they're up. And so that way it's still been personalized. At the same time, I can add a little note, an additional note that's exactly to that person, and then deploy it, right? It's a great methodology.
Oh, wow. I'd like to learn about that.
Yeah, like I said, check out the webinar and then email me, and I'm happy to, give you all the, I shared it in the webinar too, but I'm happy to give you the stuff. It's mind-boggling what you can do with, I even have a tool. Actually, you know what? Let me demonstrate this just for the coolness of it.
Wow.
So Clearbit is, I got contacted from someone who saw one of my videos demonstrating it, and this Maestrieth, we work together. I mean, he's the designer, right? I'm the guy that helps say this is what I want. But this is all AutoHotkey, right? The GUIs and stuff. And so we can come in here and say, let's look for, first, I don't know who I'm going to look for. Let's say I'm looking for a company. I need the domain, basically. Oh, man. We were running this the other day. I thought I'm running it. I'm running on that one. Yeah, that is weird. Oh, it was that. Let me try that one. Oh, that's why. Okay. So first I can look up the companies. What I needed was the domain, right? And so now I can click this. That's going to put ti.com in here. And I'm going to search people at ti.com. And now it brought back, these are people that work at Texas Instruments. And it has information about them. I can search by their name. I could put in their, let's say I only want managers that work in marketing, and search again. And now you'll notice there's fewer people here, but they're all managers and they work in marketing, right?
Oh, wow.
And then I could, in the tool, I can find someone. Actually, I know her. I don't want to pull her email address. That'd be mean. Anyway, I can double click it and it will go extract the email address for me, and it charges me, I forget what, like $3 or whatever. but it'll pull out their email address, which then means I can email them, right? But this company was like, oh, then they take it and they put it into this other tool and they're writing them. And I'm like, you know what? I can automate that whole process from here of creating that email to each of them, piping in, some of the information about them and do it all together. But I just wanted this as a cool demo of this is one of the things with this is all with AutoHotkey, right? We built this
power of AutoHotkey.
Yeah. And it's pretty amazing the stuff you can do with their GUIs when you know what you're doing. I don't know what I'm doing, so I don't touch it, but Maestrith does. And APIs are... Go ahead, Jackie.
And we have some great examples of what you absolutely can do if you apply yourself, that's for sure. And Maestrith, he has done a lot with GUIs. We must give him that.
Yeah, I watch him do stuff, and I'm just blown away. Although, Jackie, you'll be amazed. The other day, what was I working? I was working on something. Oh, yeah, I had to always go log in. I'm helping this client with something. I had to log into this website and verify that because we've automated texting, right? And so I can text people. Actually, there were 2 people who signed up for text reminders. And if you guys haven't, if you want a text reminder and you're in the U.S., give me your phone number in the entry forms, and I can automate texting you a personalized message. But so I have to go make sure that I have the right people, and so I automated building a GUI that would display. I don't have to go to the web page. I can hit a button, and it goes and queries the page and puts in the exact information right where I want it in a GUI in a list view. And I'm like, normally I'm like, I don't touch GUIs. They scare me. But it didn't take me forever. I was happy.
Yeah, progress. That's good.
Yeah,
that's great.
Someone I saw after I closed this, they said for staff at SpaceX. I am curious what that pulls up. So first we have to find the domain of the company. Oh yeah. Wait a minute. This is where I put it. All right. I guess that's it. So look up companies or employees. And now when I search, just 2 people. Oh, I have, sorry. I have these. Yeah. And the great thing is all of this stuff is free. The stuff I'm seeing right now, until I pull their email address, this is all free.
Right.
Yeah, it's a great API you found there. That's for sure. But again, also, what would you use it for without the email?
Well, I could start profiling companies and understanding, because my next one process would be let's say I get a list of 1,000 domains of large companies, right? Mm-hmm. And I know fleet manager or data scientists are the type of people I'm looking for, right? I could then loop over the 1,000 companies and get a count of how many data scientists there are at each of those companies to figure out what companies I should target, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, that's one use, but yeah.
I knew you had a use for it.
I should have told you about that call with the people who want to buy. They want to get this tool from us, but it opened up so many other things of like I should have built, because I built this to give to my friends in sales because they spend so much time manually doing this stuff, and then they just didn't express a lot of interest, and so I just left it. Well, these guys reached out and they were explaining to them what they're doing, and I'm like, you know what? There's so many more things that I can do with this tool, connecting it to a couple other things and automating that entire cold call process, right? But then be able to have benchmarks on what words were in the subject line, who we targeted, the, days of the week that the email was sent, all of those things, but how have all of that stored, and then profile the current customer. Let's say SpaceX contacted me and said, we want to do this, but we want to go do it for our cold calling. Well, I could say, give me a list of your current contacts at your customers, and let's build a profile of them, and that'll help us understand the types of companies we should go target, right? And because my background's in data science, I know that area really well. I'm like, oh, you know what? I should do this when I have the time.
Yeah.
Have you heard of? My friend told me about something about a way you could obtain the email address of just by knowing the first person's name and the last person's name and the company's name. Without paying, just go to violanorbert.com and enter those information.
Can you type that out and paste it in the chat?
Yeah.
I don't think I could spell that. My guess would be it's hit or miss, right? But it's
Yeah.
you know, I'd love to know it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Viola Norbert.
Sounds a little like a phone company type thing.
This is based on what someone told me. I never used it myself, so someone told me maybe this could be helpful.
Email address finder. Pages
that,
like
this is not the correct page, Joe.
okay.
That doesn't work. That's not. It's nothing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's
yeah,
empty. It's not working.
Right. Didn't find it. Yeah, that domain wasn't quite right.
No, it might have closed down or only been up for whatever time that might have been. Yeah, try it there. See if that gives a result instead.
Ah, that looks a little better. Oh, and yeah, so I'll bet you I can already tell you right from looking at this. They will give you, you know, probably like 3 a day for free or 1 a day for free or something. Oh. And then, you know, after you hit that threshold, most of these things, because this I see there's an API here in pricing, right?
Get 50 beats for free.
Yeah, so you'll get
right
some
on the big
free.
Button.
Yeah. You'll get some for free, and then after that, you reach that threshold, and you have to start paying.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, you have to give them your, you know, login info to get the 50 free leads, and then so you could automate creating new accounts every time.
Yeah.
The clear bit. Go ahead, Jackie.
They'll phone you immediately, send you an email, invite you to buy more.
Right.
Yeah, that's their business model. Probably works quite well. It's probably just as well as whatever you have, Joe.
Well, yeah. I mean, as far as that, then it depends on what you're doing with it, right?
Yeah.
The Clearbit gives you. I helped them with some of their design, so they gave me. I get up to 90, I think, a month for free for the prospecting, those email addresses, if I remember right. Normally it's like 20 a month, I think, or something. And then I can do company lookups, which I didn't explain here. The company discovery.
Oh yes, that's very. I like that.
So I can say I want a certain size companies that work in a certain sector, and also by location, right? And then search, and this will tell me how many there are. Oh, so I was too specific. But this allows me to see how many there are, and then after I can go and actually go pull the data about them.
Yeah.
This is very handy, knowing metadata about it.
So here there are 4 businesses, right? And so now I'll say, okay, let me look up companies. And here we built this in to say how many, because there could have been hundreds or thousands, right? And this allows me to say, give me the first 10, right? Since there were only 4, I'm just going to hit go. When it does it, did it go?
There was an error retrieving.
Yeah.
Whatever. Maybe you don't have any more.
That could be because I did pull some before. But let me show you. And see, that's the thing. There's something weird going on. Because this should be showing the stuff I've already pulled. But yeah, they have the corporographic information about the companies. Yeah, that should have been showing data I've already extracted. But Chad and I noticed for some reason on my computer, and I think maybe it's because I'm using a different API, a token for my API.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah, they pull back a lot of fields, like all of these, and then we just chose what you display in here. Anyway, yeah, it's a pretty robust tool. But yeah, I know because you can spend an amazing amount of time trying to drum up leads, right?
Yeah.
How much does Clearbit cost?
It just depends on what service you're requesting, right? And I don't know how to get to the pricing, but there are these 4 different API calls they have now. Let's see if this will show it in here. No, but that's the thing is you have to go into it. They also do email verification, which I've used to not, mess up my list. Like, let's say if you're using MailChimp, or I don't use MailChimp, but I just don't want it to bounce as much. So the enrichment is looking up either information about the person or the company, and the prospector is where you're going to end up pulling their email address. But see, I think they changed. I still am grandfathered into it, so I don't know if they offer that anymore. But I can still use mine. But let's look at the enrichment. Yeah, so it just varies. And there's other tools. Clearbit, when you extract the data, you own the data. I think it was personal contact or something. Full contact API, full I don't know. It said like, oh, as long as you have your account, it's your data, but when you close your account, you need to delete all your stuff. Full contact API. Yeah, that was that one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them out there, right? And that other one, I mean, I can look at the one you sent to look at pricing too. It's just good to know.
Yeah, but that's what they're saying. It's not, you can't be sure that's actually the legality behind it. They might tell you to delete all the data,
Right.
but
Sure.
has anybody actually contested that, or whatever you'd call that?
Wow, look at this. They're charging $1,000 a month for Salesforce connection.
Yeah.
Man.
Things are expensive.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Yeah, can be much worse than $1,000.
Get email IO. Yeah.
Yeah, that one wasn't liked by Google.
The other thing you can do is look on LinkedIn and connect with as many people as you can, and after you connect first person, you get their email address.
Oh yes.
And
What are some of the lifestyle things you've automated? For example, I see that you have a page with Google. You have a page with different searches. Or
my
what's
homepage. This?
Yeah, what's that?
This is just, it's my start page that just has, basically all my bookmarks I use frequently.
Oh, okay.
As my start page. It's just an HTML page I built myself. It's kind of funny because I built this thing like 20 years ago. And
I can see that.
That's funny. But Google, Chrome, for a while at least, changed to where they kind of had like the picture kind of like this, and they would save like your most frequent things to it. It was an overall very similar thing to what I'd been doing forever. But yeah.
Okay. Also, there's music. You've mentioned you automated other music players, and what other cool things have you automated in lifestyle, in terms of lifestyle, or in terms of work, in terms of like productivity?
Well, that is. Let me show you.
What's your favorite, or what do you use every day where you automate every single day?
My screen clipping one, this one, which I can do multiple, right?
Yeah.
I use that like I can't tell you how many times a day. And then I have a different, where if I click a different button, it will, Outlook's closed, so it has to open it. but it took that screen clip and attached it in as both a BMP and a JPEG, and wrote my email for me, right? Where I could now forward this to you in a heartbeat, right?
Oh wow.
So that's
Very
one
cool.
I use a lot. But the list is, I mean, these are like topics of things that I've automated, and even from there, under AutoHotkey functionality, right? I have another list of just an amazing amount of stuff. I mean, a better question is, what haven't I automated, right? Like any aspect of what I do, I'm like, there's got to be a better way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally use AutoHotkey to gamify my work.
How do you do that? I like to gamify my work myself. I use habitica.com.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a time management gamification system for productivity.
Yeah.
So how do you use AutoHotkey to gamify your work?
I use it simply to I use AutoHotkey in a way where if I get a task, instead of just, let's say, completing the task offhand, I might break it down into what does this task actually involve if I wanted to automate it. So instead of just having a simple enter this 100 times, I would look at it and see how can I automate this to do it for me. I use about the same time as I would do on actually just doing it 100 times. But when I'm done, I have a script to do it if I'm asked to do it again another time. And now I've had fun because I have fun when I actually do AutoHotkey scripts. And I have a new automated workflow if I ever is asked to do that task again. And that helps me have more fun at work. So that's how I gamify it. Yeah.
So, and actually, that was one of the ones I'm not going to demonstrate it because I didn't set it up for this one, but it would be easy to create. At my old company, I'd have a list of different things with these check buttons, right? And I'd have thousands that I'd need to delete, but I wouldn't want all of them on the page, so I couldn't hit select all, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, it was what Jackie just said. It was like, God, this sucks, right? How can I automate this? And I finally realized, what's easy is just to I'll hit the first one, and then when I hit actually, so space does it, and then I'll tab. Oh, next row, space. And then I just said, well, crap, I'll put that in a loop of 20, right? And so like in 5 lines or less, it would just go and click all the things. And it was just like, how every little thing you do, you're just like, oh my God. I realized launching a program, like all these are GUIs I built that I can launch, other scripts. Although there's a great tool, pop up this tool, and it's here right now. This is the same, and it's much easier. It's called Quick Access Pop-Up. I'll pull up the main screen, but it makes writing the GUIs. Where did it go? It launched, but I don't see it. I must have it hidden behind. Yeah, there it is. It can help you automate building that GUI and launching of things, or even inserting. So let me start. I'll just start site. So I can hit this. This is in there, and I'm saying, oh, you know what? I want my AutoHotkey syntax, and I'm gonna I wanted the code to pad something with 0, right? And there it is, right? And so, but I can easily say, oh, you know what? I also wanted. Let's pretend that was AutoHotkey code, right? I'm gonna copy that, and I'm gonna come in here and say settings, and actually I'm gonna add it to my top one under the main. I'm gonna say add snippet, okay. Short name would be duh, and this is what I want it to dump in for me, right? And now save and reload, and now when I'm in here and I hit my thing, look, there's duh, and bam, there it is.
Right.
And I can change the icons that are associated to this, but I can build nested structures, right? And so it's really easy for me, and it's all built in AutoHotkey also, not that that matters, but it makes it really easy. There's a lot of, we have a great webinar discussing this with, is he still on? I saw him on earlier with
yeah,
Jean.
I'm here.
No, Jean, the author of this tool, was on the webinar. I saw him earlier. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. Can save you a lot of time.
Yeah. And each time you you actually stumble upon these great things that people have made with AutoHotkey, it's also it's great to know that they're there both as an inspiration, but also if you ever wanted to do something that they did, you'd most likely have somewhere on the forum or wherever where they've actually shared how they did it. So you can also use the inspiration as a learning guide.
Wow. Also, when you automate and gamify your tasks, you just use AutoHotkey to do that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I it's one of those things, and so we have another webinar on talking about, you know, laying out your code, what you're going to be doing, and should you automate and not. And one of the big things that you learn when, you know, one is I hated my job when I worked somewhere, and so to make it fun, I'd be like, you know what, instead of doing that, I'm going to automate this bit of it, which I love doing, and then the actual doing of the work took 20% of the time is what it would have taken, and yet I had fun at work, right? But what I didn't plan on was I thought that was like an isolated thing, and what I realized, though, was so many things I would later go, you know what? I can reuse what I did on that one and just tweak it. And so, hi.
Sí.
I muted him. That's funny.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, he's getting yelled at by his mom. No, I'm kidding. But no.
See.
He's like, yeah, I'm a little busy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but
that
live stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, the point being, it was amazing how much stuff, even though I thought it was a one-time use, really was not a one-time use. It was either I got to reuse it or I learned I could adapt what I did and my mindset changed and I further understood something, right? And so it was worth the time.
Yeah, and
She's still
not really ready. Yeah. But yeah, to me, what makes AutoHotkey and maybe the quickness of doing something as simple as you said yourself, where you had a checkbox you needed to check, and the only thing you actually needed to do was send 5 tabs and a space, and then just loop that. That would be maybe 5 lines of code, and you would have that set up, and you don't even need to compile it or anything.
Right. And you know, part of me wanted to say, oh, how would I, with COM and IE, get the structure and check each one? And that was why I'm like, I never tackled it, because that was what I thought I'd have to do. And then suddenly I'm like, wait a minute. Just, you know, I do my best to avoid sending keystrokes, but sometimes, you know, and it always worked very reliably. It was lightning fast.
Yeah, and that's the thing. One of the things that work as well, where we were working within a Microsoft program as well, or interface, and without a COM interface, that is, or at least IT had to actually switch that on for that to be available, which it was not. So the only thing you actually could do was, let's say, send using the control commands. But then again, the program didn't have really well-defined control names, so that wasn't that easy. So then I actually started using, let's say, the easy access, what's it called?
Accessories, viewer.
Yeah, exactly, and trying to find them that way, and traversing the tree of the controls and finding them, and it also worked okay until they actually updated it, and it ended up just being much simpler, just using tabs and sending keys, because the control was always in the same tab count number
Right.
away from where the focus started. But yeah. So a few times I've hit that one where the simplest approach also was the one that actually
Yeah.
worked best.
But to your point, Jackie, also it's to me it's like a puzzle sometimes to break down what it is I'm trying to do and go, what is it that makes this thing unique that will be reliable and consistent? And sometimes you go with what will be the most robust. I typically go with what will be the most robust first because I don't mind spending the investment to get it done. But sometimes it's as simple as sending keystrokes and it actually works great. And sometimes it actually is the most reliable too. So,
But again, I'm pretty sure that someone with, let's say, Python or something has the same use for it as we do. But yeah, a lot of the people who actually use AutoHotkey, they just need those quick fixes, whereas you can really use it for that, and it just has the power to do more. But yeah, we need to cater to both ends. We're probably not the community where we have the most hardcore programmers. We have some for sure, but
right.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, we're at the end of the second hour. Just unmuted you again, Glenn. Are you? Oh, all right. You're going back on mute. It's getting a Congo. Anyway, I guess we'll, unless anyone has anything else, we'll drop off. And from America, at least, we'll wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving. I'm very thankful that we have people that enjoy AutoHotkey and love saving time. And so I'm glad you guys are here.
Yeah, it's great to have you guys here for sure. And happy Thanksgiving to you, Joe, if we don't talk until.
And if you guys have any thoughts for the next webinar, email them to either or both of us. We're kind of, for us, we're kind of going like, what's the next webinar topic going to be on? And so if you guys have special interest in certain things, let us know, because we're happy to cater to something. GDIP, yeah.
Yeah, GDIP, yeah.
It's funny because we were talking about that already. That's in the roadworks. It's on the plan. We don't know if it'll be next, but it's coming.
And the thing with GDIP is also it's a very, very big topic. Do you actually want to write things on the screen? Do you want to read the screen? Do you want to grab stuff from the screen?
Yeah.
It can do an amazing amount of things. So it's a broad topic.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you all.
Yeah, sure.
Have a great day.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.